Yes, you are welcome, students, to your favorite biology class. What we are going to be studying today is very important in your knowledge of biology, and it is germination of seeds. Germination of seeds. So we are going to look at how seeds germinate to become great plants. When you look at plants around us, they don't become what they are today. From your previous knowledge of biology, you know that plants, especially the flowering plants, will produce fruits, and within the fruits are seeds that if we plant these seeds, they are able to grow up to become other plants by way of propagation. Now, under this topic, we want to look at certain specific area. One, we are going to look at the meaning of germination, the meaning of germination, that is the definition. So by the word meaning, we are saying definition. I mean definition of germination. Not only that, we are also going to look at the conditions necessary for germination. And thirdly, we are going to look at the types of germination. After this, we look at the process of germination. Look at the process of germination. And finally, with time permits, we will be looking at some graphical analysis. Okay, we'll look at graphical analysis of germination. Analysis of germination. So we're going to look at the meaning of germination, types of germination, the process of germination, and if time permits, we look at graphical analysis of germination. Now, the term germination refers to the process whereby seeds of plants grow up to become a seedling. The little plant that is just growing up is called a seedling. Now, germination refers to a process. So the first thing is that it is a process. Please note, it is a process. It's not something that just happens spontaneously. It's something that happens from one stage to another. So we call it a process. It is a process. Then, it is a process whereby the embryo of seeds, it's a process whereby embryo of seeds, okay, grow out of testa, its testa to become a seedling. to become a seedling, and particularly during favorable condition. I would like us to analyze the various aspects of this, definition before we, put it in the common form. Now, the first thing we should note is that germination is a process. It is a process whereby embryo of a seed or embryo of seeds grow out of its word tester to become a word seedling. Now, tester is the portion that covers all seeds. Any seed that you have, be it maize seed or bean seed, the thin membrane that covers it is called the tester, or we call it seed coat. And the technical name for it is a tester. So this tester, sometimes when you soak these seeds inside water, you are able to remove the seed coat. Now, when you soak the seed in water, you are able to remove the outer covering. That outer covering is called the tester. And for most of those seeds, when you remove the outer covering, then the inside of the seed is basically the cotyledon. So the cotyledon, for example, in maize, will split into two, okay, which is common to dicotyledonous plant. You understand it now? If it is dicotyledonous, it will split into two. Now, the tester is that portion that covers, the seed. Now, when that one splits open, the embryo will grow out of the seed. And when it begins to grow out, begins to, produce the plumule, which is the part outside that goes out of the soil, it grows up to become a little tender plant. That little tender plant with tender leaves is called a what? Seedling. It's called a seedling. And it is very important for us to note that this process will take place under favorable conditions. It will not always take place. If the conditions are not there, are not favorable, a seed will not grow. It will not germinate. So it must take place, or it usually takes place when conditions are favorable. So if we now want to summarize together, we can now come up and say germination. Germination is a process. Germination is a process whereby embryo of a seed grows out of its tester to become a seedling during favorable condition. So germination is the process whereby embryo of a seed grows out of its tester to become a seedling during favorable condition. This is the clear definition, and each aspect of this definition is very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Especially the key words that began to emphasize. Germination is a process whereby embryo of a seed grows out of its tester and it becomes a seedling. And that one takes place only during favorable conditions. So the next step that we are now going to take is to look at the favorable conditions that are necessary. Conditions that are necessary for germination to do what? To take place. When we have said that it takes place only during favorable conditions, what are the elements of these conditions? So that one takes us to conditions necessary. Takes us to conditions necessary for germination. So we look at conditions. Conditions necessary for germination. Conditions necessary for germination. The broad topic that we are still considering is germination of seeds. Good. Conditions necessary for germination. There are 4 main conditions that are necessary for germination to take place. And these conditions must be met for any seed at all to begin to germinate. Now, the seeds that you keep at home, now most of them eventually are turned to food that we eat, like our rice, like beans, like maize, and all other seeds that we take at home. They are there, they remain there. I will say they remain dormant there. They remain inactive there. They do not germinate simply because the conditions that should trigger germination, the conditions that should bring about germination is not made available. Are you following what I'm saying now? Now, the first of the condition is that there must be, or the seed must be viable. So the first condition is that there must be viable seed. The seed must be viable. The second condition is that there must be optimum temperature. There must be what? Optimum temperature. And 3, there must be the presence of air. There must be the presence of air. Must be the presence of air. And the particular, component or portion of the air that is important for this to take place is oxygen. So air or oxygen. Air or oxygen. And the fourth condition that is necessary for germination to take place is water or moisture, or what you normally call the water. So these 4 conditions must be met for germination to take place in any particular seed. Now, what are the roles of these conditions? I want you to give your attention. The roles of this, or the role of each of these conditions, is very, very important. 1, the seed must be viable, meaning that the seed must be alive. That one will take us quickly quickly to look at the simple nature of a seed. For example, if we represent our maize seed with this simple drawing, this one being our tester, the outer covering of the seed. And if you look at it very well, you see a marked portion of the seed. If the tester is removed, you see a marked portion, assuming that this is our tester. And this being our cotyledon, which is also called the endosperm. Endosperm, where food is stored in the fruit or in the seed. It is actually endosperm, or we call it generally cotyledon. Now, when you move from the cotyledon, you see the embryo. The embryo. Now, this is the point of attachment of the